Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to follow a single command on this absolutely wild, high-speed journey. We're talking from your keyboard to a server across the globe and all the way back again. Let's get started.
All right, let's kick things off with a simple question. You type google.com into your browser, you hit enter. I mean, you've probably done it 1,000 times, right? But have you ever really stopped to think about the invisible, totally mind-blowing magic that happens in that split second right after you click?
Okay, get this. The entire round trip. I'm talking your request zipping across the country, maybe even the whole world, getting an answer and flying back to your screen. It all takes about 250 milliseconds. That is literally faster than you can blink. It's insane.
So let's imagine your search request is this tiny digital messenger. For the rest of this explainer, we're going to follow that little guy on its truly epic split-second adventure, all the way from your computer to the heart of Google servers and back home again. All right, Section 1, your first keystroke. You know, the journey kicks off the very instant your finger hits that Enter key.
So, here's the first interesting thing. We humans, we love easy-to-remember names like google.com. But the internet, it doesn't really work that way. It's a world of numbers. So your browser, it knows the name you typed, but to actually find the server's front door, it needs a very specific numerical address.
And this is the translation that has to happen. The friendly name, google.com, has to get converted into an IP address, which is this string of numbers you see here. You know, every single device hooked up to the internet has one of these. It's basically a unique street address for that specific server on this gigantic map we call the web.
Okay, so the big question is, how on earth does your browser find that number? Well, it goes and consults this massive globally distributed directory.
This is where something called the Domain Name System, or DNS, comes into play. And honestly, the absolute best way to think about DNS is as the internet's giant phone book. Its one and only job is to look up the name you give it, like google.com, and hand your browser the correct phone number, or in this case, the IP address, to connect to.
But here's the really clever part. It doesn't just ask one place. To be as fast as humanly possible, it checks in a very specific order. First, your browser checks its own memory, its cache, to see if you visited recently. No dice? Okay, then it asks your computer's operating system. Still nothing? It asks your Wi-Fi router. And only if none of those local sources know the answer does it finally go out to your internet service provider. It's this brilliant, cascading series of questions designed to find the answer in the absolute quickest way.
Okay, so our little messenger now has the address it needs. It's time for it to leave the nest and venture out into the vast, open internet.
But hold on, it can't just, scream the message into the digital void and hope someone's listening. That would be total chaos. Before it sends anything important, it needs to politely knock on Google's digital door and make sure the server on the other end is actually home and ready to check.
This whole process is handled by a set of rules called the Transmission Control Protocol, or TCP. You can think of it like sending certified mail. TCP is obsessed with reliability. It makes absolutely sure that every single piece of your message arrives safely, in the right order, and it won't rest until it gets a confirmation receipt. This protocol is pretty much the reason the internet works reliably at all.
So to set up this reliable connection, TCP does this thing called a three-way handshake. It's super simple, really. Your computer sends a message that's basically like, "Hey, you there?" Google's server replies, "Yep, I'm here and I'm listening." And your computer sends one last message saying, "Awesome, the request is on its way." It's this quick digital confirmation that both sides are on the same page and ready to talk.
So once that handshake is complete, our little messenger is off, blazing across the globe through undersea fiber optic cables, and finally, it arrives at its destination, a Google data center. So you gotta wonder, what does our little digital messenger actually find when it arrives? I mean, what does the inside of Google even look like to a tiny little packet of data? Well, I can tell you what it doesn't find. It doesn't find one lonely computer sitting in a corner. No way. It finds a fortress of pure computation. We're talking a massive data center packed with hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of servers, all humming away, all networked together, and all designed to handle just this insane volume of requests every single second. The very first thing your request runs into is a device called a load balancer. Its job sounds simple, but it is absolutely critical. Think of it as a digital traffic cop. It takes one look at all the incoming traffic and instantly points your request to the server that's the least busy at that exact moment. This is all to make sure you get the fastest possible response and to stop any one server from getting totally swamped.
So, once it's been directed, a web server grabs your request. And in this case, it's a pretty simple one. Hey, send me the Google homepage. That server instantly goes to work, gathering all the necessary bits of code and all the assets, and packages them all up, getting them ready for the return trip back to you.
And here we go, the final leg of the journey. That little package of data is now flying back across the internet straight to your browser.
Now, what's interesting is that Google's server doesn't send back a finished picture of the web page. It sends back the raw building blocks. It sends HTML, which is like the skeleton and the content of the page. It sends CSS, which is all the style, the colors, the fonts, the layout. And it sends JavaScript, which is the magic that powers all the interactive stuff. Then, your web browser, whether it's Chrome, Firefox, Safari, whatever you use, it becomes this master construction worker. It gets these separate files, these blueprints, and in a flash, it reads all the instructions and assembles everything into the complete familiar Google homepage that pops up right on your screen.
And just think about that for a second. That entire ridiculously complex journey. The phone book lookup, the digital handshake, zipping across the globe, navigating a massive data center, and then building the page from scratch, all of it happens almost instantaneously. It is an incredible symphony of technology playing out in the background of every single click you make.
So the next time you open your browser,
Just remember that epic journey that's about to begin. Remember the incredible invisible engineering that connects you to pretty much all the world's information in less than the blink of an eye. And maybe ask yourself, what invisible worlds are you going to explore next?